Hello viewer, you're welcome to your favorite tax enlightenment program, and it is Tax Insight Monday. Tax Insight Monday is a program strategically designed to bring you up to speed on tax-related issues. My name is M.Sc Pascal, and as usual, we'll be bringing you interesting guests to talk about interesting topics. And my guest in the studio today is a resource person. She is a chartered accountant by profession. He is a fellow of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation in Nigeria. He is an associate member of Women in Business and Public Service. Currently, a senior special assistant to Governor of on IGR Technical. I am talking about no other person than Mrs. Oyeka Amara Kate. I call her the phenomenal SSA.
Thank you so much, Blaze, for that warm welcome. I'm happy to be here with you in the studio. Thank you so much.
We're honored to have you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's begin. We're talking about Tax Insight Monday. It's an interesting program, carefully drafted out. How did the idea come about?
For we at the agency, really, our primary assignment is to collect the right amount of taxes and put in the government coffers for execution of government projects. But on the other hand, there's something I want to quote directly our own Professor Taiwo Yedele, who says, "No country can become rich by taxing poverty." Right? So at Tax Insight Monday, we basically want to do a lot of things. But let me just narrow it down to our primary aim when we came up with Tax Insight Monday, which is stemmed from what we stand for with respect to our vision as an agency and our mission. One of the things that we stand for in our vision is that we want to be a responsive and customer-centric agency. What do we mean? We want to make taxpayers know their responsibilities, know their rights. We want to bring to the forerunner all the possible information that might be confusing taxpayers. So we say, okay, every Monday we sit in the studio within 1 hour, bring various topics, that are bordering on tax matters to the public, using that opportunity to enlighten them, using that opportunity to also welcome their comments and questions in ways that, might not be clear to them. Other aspect of our vision, for example, says that we want to ensure that taxpayers have access to the adequate information. So this is one of the things that Tax Insight Monday will be doing, providing taxpayers with adequate information at all times, because in tax administration, really, the amount of tax to be paid should not be a secret. Every taxpayer should know at every point in time what he or she is supposed to pay, when it's due, where to pay it, right? Yeah. And in the manner to pay it.
Of course.
Other things that we said in our vision as an agency is that we want to constantly create tax awareness. Yeah. So this is one of the things that Tax Insight Monday will be doing for us. I want to be an agency that has the right tools, best way possible to reach every stakeholder. Okay. So at Tax Insight Monday, we'll be using this platform to have interactions with stakeholders. Right? Our stakeholders as a government could also be other government agencies or ministries or departments. Our taxpayers are our stakeholders. So it's a platform that was thought out to make sure that some of these things, creating tax awareness, bringing adequate information to the taxpayers, having collaborative discussions. This is all we expect to see on this platform and more.
Right. Speaking of having taxpayers having adequate tax information. That reminds me, some time ago, this agency created some persons, desk officers posted to different ministries to serve as a ombudsman between the ARS and other service ministries. Yes, tell us more, give us more insight on that.
Oh, okay. Sometime earlier in the year, I can't remember precisely now, but I think around between February and March, we called an interactive meeting between ARS and other ministries. We sent letters to over 22 MDAs. Quite a number turned up for the meeting. The essence of that meeting was to find a leveling ground for us to have a proper handshake between what they do in their own agencies and departments and what we do. Because I believe that everybody who have interaction with these agencies are in one way taxpayers.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you are going to land, maybe to perfect your land document or whatever, you'll be dealing with an aspect of tax that is maybe stamp duty or your property tax or whatever. If you are going to think of it at all, Ministry of Education, maybe to go and get your school license or whatever, you are a taxpayer in the sense that you're supposed to pay your personal income tax. If you are going to Ministry of Health, you're also a taxpayer. So there is no ministry at all that you are dealing with within our dear state that, you know, tax matters won't come up. So after that interactive session, what we did was to have a proper agreement with these agencies to say, can we have a DEX at your agency or your property tax or whatever? If you are going to think of it at all, Ministry of Education, maybe to go and get your school license or whatever, you are a taxpayer in the sense that you're supposed to pay your personal income tax. If you are going to Ministry of Health, you're also a taxpayer. So there is no ministry at all that you are dealing with within our dear state that, you know, tax matters won't come up. So after that interactive session, what we did was to have a proper agreement with these agencies to say, can we have a DEX at your agency? So that these people don't have to start coming to us every time here. We brought our services to, you know, to their convenience. So if you are going to any agency, like I said, Ministry of Education, you know, lands, health, whatever it is, you have our officer there who you can, you know, make inquiries from, create your asking, pay what you're supposed to pay, and get your taxpayers card. So that was what we did, and it's already on course. Just a few more ministries that we need to make sure that we have our tax officers at their ministries, and then, you know, the whole agencies and departments begin to interact properly.
Fantastic, and I think that explains the quantum leap of revenue that
it's gradually coming there. Not your quantum though, not your quantum.
Well, we can say that.
Yeah.
My question again is still on Tax Insight Monday.
Yes, sir.
Is there any idea, you know, that you think that can make the program worthwhile, take, you know, and as
aside enlightenment?
Exactly.
Awesome. I must tell you, you know, what we're coming up with this idea. In fact, let me first of all thank management, because when this idea was greeted, it was embraced, you know. Chairman was the first person to honor us on this program, and after that, our executive director, Mr. Ben Okafor, was the second person. I don't know if I'm the third or whoever, but I know that the top management embraced it. You know, they've been to the studio, they had a taste of what the studio looks like. So I must thank management for saying this is a noble idea, run with it. Right. So the question you asked me was what precisely that are there other ideas?
Yeah.
Now, one of the other ideas we have, aside making taxpayers to have adequate information, creating tax awareness, giving tax education, is going back to what I will say, is that there is no prosperous state or country that focuses on taxing poverty. Right. It takes good businesses. It takes businesses to be prosperous, running, flourishing, for we to be able to, you know, get the right amount of tax, like I always say. So one of the things we want to do is to give business owners opportunity to come on our platform. You begin to see in the weeks ahead that we'll open our platform for business owners to come here, tell their customers what they do, where their offices are. If they have their product to showcase, we give opportunity for business owners to showcase their product. You know, maybe mention your social media handle, and I tell you what, they begin to gain traction. Because this is an agency that is respected across the state. So if you're giving that opportunity for business owners to come talk about their businesses and what they do in their own company or their own small created business, I believe that their customers will trust them more. So it's going to serve a lot of purpose for business owners. And at the same time, you know, we are more like giving indirect advertisement for these business owners. So gradually businesses will be thriving. And the moment businesses begin to thrive, you know, revenue will trickle in more. So we're not intended to tax poverty in our own state. That's why we also give the opportunity for business owners to come here, sell their markets. So our Tax Insight Monday is going to be Tax Insight Monday Business Edition. Right. So where businesses can deal with their customers as they like. And in the future, we'll begin to have what we call maybe social media live broadcast.
Okay.
So we bring business owners, they go live with their customers,
Oh, wow.
so that they can ask immediate questions. I see sometimes where, for example, people who are into beauty or whatever, so a consultant comes in live, so users of such product can ask, okay, so if I have sensitive skin, if I do this and do that. So we're going to gradually open it up for the public to ask direct questions to these business owners as to how their product work, what they sell, in what quantity, in what price, and all of that. So all of these things will help to make sure that the economy is booming, is prosperous. So, and indirectly, of course, our revenues will go up in that process. So
I will not be surprised if you also bring in entertainment into the forum.
Oh, not we're not ruling it out, because for example, entertainment companies, I know gradually as Christmas and the celebration period comes, they'll be coming up with some sort of programs and events to entertain. So yes, why not? They can come on our show and say, oh, we have a program coming up on the 27th of December. It's going to be in so venue. These are the people who expect. So you can do your adverts on our platform. And mind you, it's free.
Wow.
It's free of charge, yes. The only thing we are begging business owners who are coming on this platform is, before we entertain you, you make sure that you have your ASIN, right? And pay the government what is due. We're not saying pay us your profit, just pay the right amount. The right amount could be under presumptive, it could be under proper personal income tax, it could be under high net worth individual. If Cubana is coming on our platform, we know Cubana is a big man, so you will pay us the big taxes, and then talk about all the other subsidiaries and the related businesses under Cubana groups. Why not? So yeah, that's what you get to see in the future.
Fantastic. I was going to come to that question, but you've done justice to that.
Thank you.
At this juncture, we'll take a breather, and when we come back, we'll continue on Tax Insight Monday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the program, Tax Insight Monday. Hope you've been enjoying your coffee as we do in the studio here. I'm staying with my guest in the studio, Mrs. Oyeka Amara Kate, the Senior Special Assistant to Governor on IGR Technical, and we've been discussing some interesting topic. My question again is, as we're talking about Tax Insight Monday, how frequent do we do our viewer tend to see this Tax Insight Monday?
Oh, I see. Now, one of the reasons why we called it Tax Insight and the Using Monday is because the business environment in Anambra, for the meantime, seems to be slightly slow on Mondays. So it's okay. Let's create other activities that the residents of Anambra and even non-residents can enjoy on Monday. So we said, call it Tax Insight Monday. How frequent is every Monday? Okay. But I've already said every other day. But basically on Monday, you can't miss it. So we can say it's our Monday show. We expect it every Monday. But if there are other events that might lead us to, having, interactions other days that are not Monday, yes, you get to see. But Mondays are set. Mondays are very set.
And as usual, we'll be here to give you insight on taxations in Anambra State. My question again is around enlightenment, still on Tax Insight Monday.
Yes.
Around enlightenment, is there other things we tend to expect in the program in terms of enlightenment?
Yeah, you see, enlightenment for taxpayers is key, very key. Because sometimes you as an administrator already know the type of taxes, the interest and penalties, the consequences for failure to comply, how much is supposed to be paid, and it's in your head. And then sometimes if you're not pushing it out, you expect taxpayers to know it and then to comply, right? So on the aspect of enlightenment, what we have planned to do is to make sure that we have a list of all the departments and units within the agency. So week on week, the heads of department come in. Fantastic. So for example, we'll have the head of PIT, the head of IT, the head of payee, the management of overseas through our technology provider, customer care head, teeth head, enlightenment teeth head, anybody at all, coming to tell us specifically what they do at their department and unit. That is just feeding the public exactly what they need to know. So I'm sure that if you do that for a period of, say, 1 year, even when you have confusion, you can go back and view, other conversations that we have had in the past. So I expect taxpayers to stay with us, always follow us across all our social media handles, because these videos are not going to be deleted or anything. So you can watch previous ones to see, okay, what was talked about, what are the possible informations I can pick from previous conversations. So they are constantly enlightened and brought up to speed.
Fantastic. Yeah. And speaking of enlightening taxpayer in Anambra State, I learned the agency recently created customer care service department, and it's new in this part of the world. Tell us more about it.
Not so new, because since that unit came on board, we've been to a few places where we say, oh, we're an agency that is open. Our doors are open to taxpayers through our customer care. And I tell you what, that unit hasn't done up to 6 months, but we have recorded tremendous success with it. Taxpayers in Anambra can now easily call to rectify whatever they want to rectify. Then what I also see is that sometimes, especially in our informal sector, where maybe a keke man is held down for what he didn't do, or because technology is not letting him bring up evidence of his payment, he just calls and say, please, I've paid up to date, but these guys are holding me down. Network is not too good for me to call up my remittance statement. So customer care just bridges the gap. So they've been doing so well. But then again, in recent event that we attended about 3 weeks ago, we were there live to assist the general public, to create a scene, to make inquiries. So you get to see more of that, because what we want to do is, for every time government or non-government organization have programs, we send our desk officers to those events to assist taxpayers to make their inquiries and do the bits that they want to do with us as an agency.
Fantastic. Yeah. I hope you had a swell time with us on the program Tax Insight Monday. This program will come your way again, subsequent edition. My name is Blaise Pascal. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. So what do we say? You say Tax Insight Monday.
Tax Insight Monday.
Don't miss it every
Don't miss
Monday.
it every Monday.
Thank you.